All right, what's going on, guys? So, I think now is probably the best and only time I'll ever do this if I don't do this now, just because I don't know. I get lazy, or I don't want to, or I forget. I get too excited with things, and I just go ahead and do it. I just kind of wanted to document how my build is gonna go with, I guess, my new project car. As you can see here, this is what we're working with. So, got a 2.0, 96, auto, pretty clean. I'll show obviously more videos later on, but this is what it looks like. Obviously, northern car, as you can tell by the big old giant hole. But she runs good, she runs strong, and this is what we're working with. So far, the only things I've done is I've checked air filter because, as you can see, it's it was leaky. I washed the engine bay yesterday. I degreased it. I guess I didn't scrub it well enough, but this is what we're working with. I did find this plug here. It was cut, just completely sheared off. So I opened it up, soldered it, sealed it, and connected it back in. I'll be honest with you, I know it has something to do with coolant. Not sure what it is, but that's the whole point of me documenting this journey. So I can kind of go over what I'm learning, and you guys can join me in the adventure. But yeah, this is it. This is my new project car. Hoping to do a few things. My end goal is to, don't mind the messy garage, by the way, and that's just grease and oil from yesterday. My overall goal is to get it up and running, make it look as OEM as possible, or OEM plus, if you will. And yeah, I want to bring you guys along for the ride. So for today's maintenance, or for today's job, what I'm doing is I'm changing this here. This is the low oil pressure sensor. High pressure is the one that's down over on top of the oil filter housing, which is right there. As you can see, this little sleeve looks just like this one. For whatever reason, after I sprayed it, my whole reasoning behind spraying it and cleaning it up was to see where it's leaking from, because I don't know if you guys can tell, but that's empty, or pretty much almost at zero. So it's got a coolant leak. Got to figure out where it's going. I don't know if you can tell, but it's super oily down there, and like all this area here was just like super oil. I think it was dripping from the valve cover gasket as well. It did look oily around the oil cap, so that's something I'm going to address. But other than that, most of the oil is coming from this side. There was a small oil leak from this side over here, which is dripping that dot right there. So I got to address to see what that is. I think that's just from yesterday, but as you can see, it's not terrible. It's got some rust, but nothing that can't be restored. But yeah, let's get to work and see what we can do. All right, so this is, I guess, the one that I got. Obviously, I don't think this is the right piece, but we'll kind of try it out, see if it works. Long story short, I am very, very far up north where not a lot of dealerships are located, so got to work with what we got, and this is what it looks like. I can get it out. So, brown plug. This it's a 15/16, which is a 24 mil, but I have 24 mil socket that is going to be replacing that. So hopefully it goes in there. I haven't taken it apart. I know that this is a sleeve that just pops off like that, and brown to brown looks about the same. So hopefully it works, because this doesn't fit the socket at all. Like, even if I take it off the actual ratchet here, Like even if I take it off the ratchet, like no fitto. So it says it takes 18 Newton pounds of force. So I mean, we're gonna wing it, I guess. If it drips, then we'll go get the right socket for it. So yeah, I'm gonna time lapse all this because it shouldn't take me too long, and then we'll go from there. And there you have it. Try to get in here. So this is what it looks like after it's done. Obviously there's a little bit of oil drippage right there, which I gotta just brake clean off, start the car over. Hopefully it doesn't drip, because if it drips from there, then we may have to go back to AutoZone and figure out a new one. But it's got a copper crush washer inside, so it's easier to, I guess, crush. But I had to use a wrench to tighten it down. I didn't over torque it because obviously 18 pounds is all it takes, but that's what it looks like. All right, I'm gonna go give it a start. So, oh, by the way, safety first. Got it on jack stands. It's not going nowhere. Shut car a couple times, wouldn't move. So let's see what we got. So previous owner said he had to get a new battery for the winter, so let's see. Yep, that annoying chime. Starts right up. Obviously, check engine light is on, but that's obviously given with the sound that it has. But let's see. It may be good. Give it a little bit of gas just to see how it goes. Oh yeah, 5-speed, or 4-speed, sorry, 4-speed automatic. All right, let's see. All right, we are in business. We are good to go. One part replaced already. Let's go. Yep, this is what she looks like on the inside. I'll do a B-roll after the last thing that I'm gonna do, which is come back out here. Oh, something fell. Not sure what it was, but I'm gonna take out the tank, degrease it, make sure it's super clean, and refill it with coolant. This is the one I ended up having to get because, like I said, I don't have a Volkswagen dealership next to me or anywhere near me for that fact, and I don't feel like driving 4 hours to go look for one. So, yep, this is what I got. Hoping to find a leak, because my next fix is full tune-up. There's a, I guess from the PVC pancake is what they call it, there's a leak. It's not leaking now, or it doesn't look like it, I guess just because it's not under pressure and I haven't driven it enough. But oil is going into here, into the intake, coming onto the air filter, and it's legit wet in here. So I have to address all this and clean it up. That, and I want to do the valve cover gasket next after I do all that. Not sure what's going on here, why the dipstick is orange or pink fuchsia, whatever you want to call it, but the dipstick tube is actually cracked, so I want to get a new one for that. Other than that, clean it up, make it nice and pretty. I'll probably end up repainting this valve cover just because that rust is a no-go, and I'm trying to get rid of all the rust. Obviously that's, you know, rusted, but in due time. Probably the ultimate goal would be pull everything out, clean the engine bay and repaint it, throw it back in. Or ideally, I would love a VR5, VR6, whichever one I can get my hands on, or even a 1.8. I would love to boost this just as a daily driver, not for power, just for, you know, just to enjoy the car, and then, you know, restore it, make it look like it came out of factory. So yeah, let's take that thing out and then go from there. All right, so since we're pretty much learning this together, I've only taken one of these off, my own personal vehicle, of course, out of my 07 Jetta, which I used to have back in the day, which you know, RIP, my beautiful car is no longer with me. But from the looks of it, remove this coolant hose, this G12 cover here, take it off. Let me see if I can. All right, it's all done by these little clip things. Pretty cool cap, I like it. Bolts. Let's see. There's a sensor here. And then yeah, should be able to come out of it, I believe. If not, I'll come back to it. But yeah, it should be it. I'm gonna time lapse this one as well. Alright, so we got it out. So like I said, it was a sensor that goes on top here, that one coolant hose, bottom coolant hose, and then those two screws that go, let me put this down, that go right here and here. So it's these type of nuts, bolts, whatever you want to call these screws. Yeah, you kind of saw me walk away is because this coolant hose here was dripped all over the battery, and I was like, I'm gonna put in new coolant. I don't want to have the old crap that's in there. It's also green, and yeah, don't mind the dusty pan. But yeah, I'm trying to get all that out, all the old crap. So I'm gonna push air through the hose. I'm not sure if it's a good idea. Long story short, I want to flush all that green crap out, put in the this fancy pink European vehicle. As you can see here, VW 96 to 2008, 50/50. It gets like -30 around where I live, so might have to just add regular coolant after once it gets cold. Obviously right now, it being June, it's still warm, and I go warm because it's last week I think it was like 40 something degrees. But yeah, so got the hose, drippy drip right there. You can hear it pumping, so it's pushing it out. But yeah, so let's go spray some degreaser in this. Also, so quick disclaimer, I am by no means a mechanic or a licensed mechanic, certified mechanic, whatever you want to call me. I've worked on Audis before. This is all based on my own personal experience. I am YouTube certified. You know, look that up if you don't get what that means. Obviously, it's a joke. So everything I learn is through YouTube, research, Google, anything you can think of. Cars are my passion. So obviously, if I gotta look for something to look for an answer, I'm gonna look for it. But yeah, I've had Mark V Jetta 2007, 2001 Mark 3.5. So it was a cabby, Mark III with a Mark IV front end, and then obviously this Golf here. So I'm hoping that, you know, with this I can learn something new. But yeah, let's get to the coolant tub. I also want to point out, you guys can see it, the shirt, Euro Tripper 2016, one of the last shows I went to before joining the military. I am currently enlisted in the military, so that's why it's been a little hard for me to, you know, get to shows and, you know, different things like that. But, you know, I want to make it a habit of getting to more shows. Just still new to the area, so obviously the little I know is not enough to get me to a show. I know there's a lot on the west and there's a lot on the east, and I am in the middle of those, if that makes sense. But yeah, This is the tub, nice and clean. Drying it off, I'm gonna air pressure it out to make sure that there's any water, anything that's inside gets washed out. That way, you know, no crap goes back into the engine. It's a very old car. I don't think the previous owner even knew what he had, because I got it for dirt cheap. So yeah, let's go air it out and put it back together. All right, so now that all that is over, yes, it's a mess. Got it to leak as much as I could. I'm sure that there's another way from the bottom to do it to cause less of a mess, but I was already here, so whatever. Going to add that now. Obviously, the steps in reverse, but obviously we have to purge the air system or the coolant system, because there's going to be air in the hoses now that I sprayed all that air through, and there's a lot less coolant. So we're going to take care of that after. I'm going to fill it up with coolant in the tub, have a drain, fill it, drain, like obviously into the system, and then run the car without the cap. As it's going through, you can keep filling the tank back and forth until it stops to either bubble or clear out, and then we'll go from there. But yep, let's get it. Also, a word of advice: this stuff, money. Always spray it onto where you're ever connecting any rubber hoses. That's why it's called rubber care. So I'm gonna spray it here, down there, onto the actual hosing or opening of the hose, whatever. And then on this one as well, just it keeps it lubricated and it's easy to put on and take off. Obviously with the clamps, they're not gonna come off, but you know, it takes care of your rubbers. And there she is. I'm not sure how well you can see in the time lapse, but hoses went on smoothly. So before I struggled, I had to use my trusty pick to get them out. Old trick I learned while working at Audi. And yeah, they went on perfectly smooth, no issues. Bolts, obviously they're super long threaded. Plug back in, top, bottom. Now we gotta fill it and then run the car. I will probably not record this part just because I gotta make sure I'm paying attention to the vehicle, and I have no tripod, so I don't know where to even put my phone. But yeah, let's get to it. All right, so there it is. Nice little red tub. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see it smoking a little bit from the exhaust, but that's just all the crap that fell back there from cleaning out the engine bay. Ran it for about 10 minutes, did fine. It's a little over, but that's just probably the excess that came back, because when I filled it up, it was fine. But yeah, other than that, it's running good. Fixed that sensor. AC actually started to work. I'm not sure why. The previous owner said he just recharged it, but it didn't blow cold. It was just like cool, but it wasn't enough to, you know, make a difference. But yeah, let's add the last touching piece. Tie it all together. There you go. There's one. There's the other one. And good to go. And I think I'm going to work on something else before I bring it down and take it out to do the B-rolls. But other than that, let's just, you know, call it for the day here. Probably going to take off the wheels, check out the brakes, you know, all that stuff. Address that. And then, yeah, we'll be good to go. All right, so like I said, don't mind the mess. There's other projects going on in my garage. Wife is repurposing, oh, that's my Lexus, by the way. Wife is repurposing a table that's inside. That's why the garage is kind of bad. Hubcaps are off. Got another one over there. Over there is the other one. And this is what the factory Steelies look like for Lug Gang. As you can see, broken. So, you know, I'm gonna be looking into some suspension because I don't know how long that's gonna last. Which, oddly enough, oh yeah, by the way, I told you it's got rust and rust. See, oddly enough, it drives pretty straight. It doesn't bounce around. It does make a clanking sound, which could be the exhaust, which is rusted out when I'm hitting bumps. But other than that, ride's good. Steelies look like they're in decent condition. Got a little bent right there, but that's just a lip. I'm gonna end up probably take these to maintenance shop here on base. You know, rotate and balance, get new valve stems in them, just you know, some fresh rubber. There's this one here, not too bad. Got a little leak there, so that's one thing I gotta address. But you know, little by little. Is the other front. Not sure what the hell that is. Oh, spider nest. And then, hold on. And then here, it's got a little bit more rust, but nothing like the other side. But yeah, let's take the wheels off, see what we find. All right, so the wheels are off. It's starting to get a little dark outside, I get it. It looks sunny, but it is currently 8:11. I get it, trippy, because it's so late in the day, so much light, but it's actually a lot darker in the garage. So, this is the driver's side rear. As you can see, there's a layer of gunk and oil. Also, another thing I gotta address is, yeah, like I said, a lot of rust, but serves its purpose. Like, for instance, here, you know, this is the first time I see the inside, but it looks pretty decent from what I can tell. So it literally looks like it's this hole here, the rock panel, and then the front over there, the rust. This looks like it's just surfaced area. Obviously, I gotta address the bushings, but they look like they're good. Probably end up getting another car or getting a steel wheel and grinding all this away and spraying it down. As you can see, this brake line looks like crap. So I'd probably end up replacing that as well. Could be wrong, but these may be seized. If not seized, they're definitely binding up because it's very tight when it's in the air and you spin the wheel. It's a front wheel drive car. It shouldn't be tight. And the e-brake doesn't even move. You gotta yank it and you gotta fight it if you want to put it up. Also, these here, obviously that, yeah, first time I see that, so that's gone. Like I said, I'll be looking into some new suspension because obviously the boot and the bushing or the little top mount is shot, so or the bump stop, sorry, is gone. So any company that sees this that wants to sponsor me, please do. We'll have to bring this back to life, you know, get it going. Some nice suspension. This side over here, like I said, was moist, as you can tell from all this. It looks like it's fresher than the guy even knew about. Gas tank, obviously I know it's plastic, but it looks good. Suspension is shot as well. Definitely rides smooth. Here's another one that I gotta address. Not sure what's going on in there, but I'll look into it. A little bit more rust. Bam. So, probably weld some plates on here. Oh, by the way, I do plan on picking up a welder. Trying to learn a few things. Like I said, this is a project car. Goal is to restore it as best as possible, but my way. So, you know, the beam itself is clean. Looks like it's just here, surface rust, like I said. Steel beams, good to go. Bushings look like they've had a better life before. So that's another thing to address. And then the fronts, obviously these are actual disc rotors. That is a no-go. That is terrible. Pads, like this surface rust shouldn't even be here. Pads are no good, obviously, because if this was from the previous pads, then whatever. But oh man, that's a thick clip. Yeah, that's very thick. Like these is a safety issue at this point. Front knuckles, everything else looks good. Rack doesn't look like it's leaking. Obviously, again, all this is all surface rust. Bushing's good, but I do plan on restoring all this. So I'll probably get a new set of all this. Rust is just there. And a little down there. I haven't taken the carpets off to figure out what's needed to change. Gotta figure out what this is. Never seen this before. And some crap. So it's probably just the rust coming off, so. And then the driver's side. Probably just as bad, but all that is dirt. The previous owner lived in a dirt driveway, so pick up a lot of dirt, but all that stuff can be cleaned off. Looks like the oil pan gasket may need to be replaced, not sure. Well, that's a tranny, but all this is getting addressed. All right, here she is. So this is what she looks like. She's definitely a little dusty, but if you actually go check out my Instagram, I had washed, clayed, and waxed her. So like you see these like water spots from like the water just sitting on top of it. But other than that, this is it. Missing a door trim there, but overall it's a beautiful car. Previous owner said that they stole that the day before he sold it to me. So, I mean, it's whatever. Probably go get something different, but this is it. Engine runs good. Cooling good. Sensors good. Overall, yeah. Here she is. Interior is decent. Bolster is gone or just folded out. I don't know. I gotta clean the interior. I haven't cleaned it yet, but dash is impeccable. No cracks, nothing missing, everything intact. Sunroof cover, I just gotta put it on. That's easy. And then that's from the back trunk because it doesn't unlock. Locking mechanism issue in the back. Like I said, I got a vacuum, but it's got the back tub here. A little system there. See if I can get this with one hand, just so you guys can see. Let's get this there. There you go. That's what it looks like. So, like I said, she's clean. She gets the job done. Now, on for a little test drive. Oh yeah, also no speedo, but it's probably a speed sensor that I gotta replace. But yeah, here she is. Handles real well too. Doesn't pull, doesn't go anyway, so it's good to go. All right, and here she is. Let's get a little B-roll going. So with that being said, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for actually watching the first one. Hopefully not the last, first of many, you know. But yeah, here she is. This is where she's spending the night, tucked away next to the Lexus. So yeah, I would say a couple grand, get her running up and perfect. I want to see how much they would quote me to weld on new bottoms, because the rust looks like it's a little bit more than what I anticipated, but you know, that's the whole point of this car. That's why it was cheap beater. Next, replace this PCV valve, pancake, whatever they call it, I don't know, but that looks like it's fresh. It's a little moist here on the side. And then the high pressure oil sensor right there, that one needs to get replaced as well, because there's new leakage. So I guess it's too dark to right now. Well, right there you go. It's a new leakage because I cleaned all this off. It looks like it's leaking again, but it was an easy fix, about 5 minutes. So again, we made it to this point. Thank you so much. And I'm not sure how often I'll be doing the videos, but hopefully every 2 weeks, every month maybe, I don't know, but I'm gonna update you guys every time I do something new to my car. Probably do the brakes next, obviously after those two, and then the exhaust, because it's just bad. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you subscribe, and you know, just keep an eye out for the next one.